Hello everyone and welcome to another One Punch Man the Strongest video. Today we'll be going over 6 things that you should be doing inside the club wars when you are facing a strong club. I do One Punch Man content, so if let's say you want to see more of such content, be sure to subscribe to the channel and also turn on the notifications so that you'll be notified when there's an upload. The first thing that you should be doing inside the club war is that you actually want to put your best lineup on your main team itself. So a lot of problems that I see coming into Orcus is that a lot of people are using their ATT. The moment that they draw it, they put in maybe like a portion of their SAC, then they go ahead and put it up. Ideally, you don't want to do that. You actually want to take out all the SACs that you actually put onto the ATT itself. With the recent changes to the buff tiers itself, you can actually revert out your SAC from the buff tiers at a lower cost. Then from there, use this SAC to put inside your current main team. So once the ATT has been talented up, extreme training, or even shard donation, maybe 4 to 5 star mark. Then from there, put in the SAC to her. Then from there, put up into your main arena team or your main club war team itself. The second thing that you should be doing is actually to wash for these triple speed buff tiers itself. So for most players, I would say they will either wash for 1 double or triple speed hero card. Then for better players, generally you actually want to go for 1 or 2 triple speed hero card. Most likely they will be able to draw for the Amai Mask. So from there they put in a triple speed onto the Amai Mask and another triple speed on either their Watchdog or Channels. Most players will actually put onto their Channels, then from there they can actually put it on the back row itself. So essentially, once they draw for the Amai, their whole team will look something like this. So the Watchdog with the full HP will be speed raised by the Amai, and also a Channels with a triple speed gear will still be able to put up DPS at a higher speed. On top of that, because your Watchdog has full HP gear, so generally the Amai's follow-up from the opponents will generally go onto the Watchdog. Then from there, your Channels is actually safe from the opponent's Amai follow-up itself. Then if let's say you do not have the Channels, then you can use this speed gear onto your ATT. So from there, because she's the first speed, then generally she'll actually put up the field first. Then from there, it will be very easy to clear out the opponents. Then moving into the bomb meta, if let's say you do not have the Amai, it will still be beneficial to actually have a first speed ATT so that you are able to put on the field first, then let the field DOT bounce onto the opponent. In order to demonstrate this, we will hit onto someone of higher BP than us to see what's the difference between a hero speed buff tier and without the hero speed buff tier. So over here we are at 21.8 million. Then over here we have 24.2 million. So we'll go ahead and challenge him to see what's the difference that the buff tier will make. So in this example, we are able to tell 2 things. One, even if you are able to draw for the ATT, but if let's say your SAC count does not match your other DPS character, generally it will actually be killed off before it actually take action. So in this case, it will be actually better to put on a 0 SAC support unit instead and use the SAC onto your main characters. And also because our Channels and Watchdog is faster, we are able to put on the damage first, and from there it became easier for us to take out the opponents. So this will definitely be useful inside the club war, whereby you are standing on the unyielding building and the opponents need to hit onto you. Then if let's say you have the speed advantage, generally their units will fall a lot faster than you. So you can actually get away with all 6 of your units still standing. The third thing that you should be doing inside the club war when you are facing a strong club is to actually leave the matches when you are losing, because by force closing the game when your team is about to get wiped, the attempts won't be consumed and also your unit deaths will not be counted. However, take note that by leaving the matches itself, you will be causing a 10-minute cooldown onto the building, so your club cannot hit onto the building for 10 minutes. So only exit the matches during tough matches itself. If let's say it's during mass election whereby your club is able to run through the opponents, generally you want to skip the battle instead of exiting the app. The fourth thing that you should be doing is to actually find a stronger player to take out the buildings that you're not able to take out in one try. So if let's say you found someone that is stronger than you, just force close the app in order to save your attempt and also prevent your team from being wiped out. And also ask around to see if there are any other players who are able to take out this opponent within one try. If let's say there are no stronger player, then the strongest player will need to make a decision. So if let's say he's able to take out the opponent in 2 tries, then he'll go ahead and go in, get his whole team wiped out, revive his whole team and go back in again for a second try. If let's say he is not able to take out opponents within 2 tries, I'll say generally your club will lose inside the club war. However, this one is really no choice. And also it's best to actually save up the attempts and hold the resource points instead to have a better chance of winning. The fifth thing that you should be doing is to actually save your attempts after destroying all the buildings. So for example, after the HQ has been destroyed for one time and all the previous buildings have been taken out, then from there you just save all your attempts and wait for the opponents to attack onto the factory. So once they attack onto the factories, use your attempts to get back the factory from them. Ideally, you actually want to hold the factory for as long as possible. Also about 9 PM to 10 PM or so, you'll come to the club HQ. Hopefully it's only killed one time. So you'll actually use your weak teams or whatever teams you have to actually hit gently onto the opponents. So you want to go in, off all your ultimates, then hit onto the buildings over here. And generally I would say if let's say it's a weak team and it's a decent opponent, generally you actually heal the opponents back to full HP, which is actually what you want. So after you have farm finished, the opponent will still be full HP. Then the next guy can come in to actually do the farming. So if you take a look on the top, if let's say the opponent's HQ get killed for the 2nd to 5th time, you will only get 100 honor. However, if let's say you were to use one attempt on this building itself, you actually get 20 honor. And also, if let's say you use 5 of your attempts on this building, it will already be 100 honor already. And imagine if let's say all 40 of your club mates were to do the same, it will actually be 4000 honor already. Instead, if let's say 4 players go in and kill this HQ 5 times, it will only be 400 additional honor. And this 3.6k honor difference, some of the times will actually make the difference between a winning battle and a losing battle. The sixth thing that you should be doing inside the club war is to actually count the attempts of your opponents and also your own team. So you actually want to take a look at the battle journal on the bottom over here. So if let's say you notice that for this main team itself, for example, if you take a look at this building, on this main team itself is on the team 1. So if let's say someone goes in and take out the team 1, most likely they are using their strongest team as well. So you can just take a note on their attempts that they used. So one player will have 2 attempts for free and also 6 attempts for recharge, with a total of 8 attempts. So if let's say the opponents have already used up 5 attempts to take out the strong teams of your club, you can actually choose to put up more aggressive plays. For example, to have your unyielding players stand on the resource nodes early on. Ideally, your unyielding players will actually come in at a later time to hold the resource down. However, if you notice that the majority of the opponents have already spent their attempts already, you can actually have your unyielding players to actually stand on the resource point early on. So to sum up, you actually want to use your strong teams on the club board itself. For example, if let's say you have a unit that don't have much SAC and the gears level are not a lot, then you can actually revert out the gear level and SAC and put it onto your current strong team. And from there, once the unit has been talented or extremed up to mark, then from there you put in your gear level and also your SAC onto the new unit. Then from there put it up to your club mode lineup. And also second thing, wash for your speed buff gears as soon as possible. For the third, only applicable for stronger clubs lah. So if let's say you're losing and your team is about to get wiped, just exit the app and find someone else to help and take out the building itself. Ideally, you want to aim for 1 attempt for 1 win. So for all the buildings itself, you should only see 3 lines. So 3 teams hitting onto 3 of the opponent's team. Also, once you have taken out the opponent's HQ 1 time, you actually want to stop hitting onto the HQ itself and save all these attempts in order to take back the factories. Then about 9 PM to 10 PM or so, once everything is more or less settled, then from there your club will do a final push whereby you will use your weak units to actually hit onto the opponent's HQ main team. So from there, this point difference, some of the times will actually make the difference between winning and losing. Then for the sixth thing, if let's say it's a very close battle, you actually want to count the attempts that your team makes and your opponent make. And if let's say they used up a lot of attempts on their main players, then go ahead and have your unyielding players take out the resource points first. Then from there, it's very difficult for the opponents to actually come and take the resource points back from you. And also as a final closing note, not everything will go as smoothly as what we described over here. However, it is important for everyone to understand the general flow of the battle itself so that your club has the most chance in getting into the finals. I'll say the difference between the finals reward is not that big. So as long as your club is able to make it through the finals, then it's good enough already. However, if let's say you meet a stronger club in the mass election, you generally want to follow these guidelines that we have described, and from there your club has the most chance of making inside the final itself. That's all I have for today. If let's say you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel for future content. With that, I will leave you guys with a video of the gameplay itself, so sit back and enjoy.